Well, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Sophie. So today I wanted to clear up something that is really bothering me, and that is some truths about hearing loss, being deaf, hard of hearing, that kind of thing. So the reason it really made my mind realise how people think is a couple of months ago I went to an emergency GP appointment when I had ear infection in both ears. Normally one of my parents always comes to an appointment with me. This one was emergency, so I went from work and then back to work. So I go in, I say to the receptionist, look, I'm deaf. If the GP just yells my name, I'm not going to hear him. Can you make sure he knows? She's like, yep, not a problem. I'll put it in the system so that he knows. Perfect. I go and sit down. It's like 10 minutes after my appointment, and for an emergency appointment, that's quite late because they usually run more or less on time for emergency appointments. At least I have found at my GP surgery. So I'm looking around, seeing if I can see any doctors kind of looking for me, and I catch a doctor out the corner of my eye. So I turn around, it says Sophie, and I'm like, yep, go in, sit down, perfect. The first thing this doctor says to me is, I was yelling your name because I got a note that you were deaf, but I'm guessing you didn't hear me. Yeah, should we rewind that just to make sure that I said that right? I was yelling your name because I got a note that you were deaf, but I'm guessing you didn't hear me. Oh no, yep, I said it right. That is what he said to me. Did you just hear what you said to yourself? I was yelling your name because I got a note you were deaf. Like, what? And then he says to me, oh, can you hear me? Because I don't want to have to be yelling at you the entire appointment. Now, I get that a lot of people don't know that much about being deaf, and it seems to be that a lot of people believe that if you are deaf, it is just about volume. And whilst there is a volume aspect to being deaf, it's not just about how loud or quiet something is that determines whether you can hear it. There is also a thing called frequency, which is the pitch of a noise. So certain pitches will be harder or impossible for certain people to hear. So I know for myself, high-pitched things are much harder for me to hear, and I'm less likely to hear them. And if I do, it's going to be rare, and it's going to be with absolutely no background noise whatsoever, which in itself is very rare. So if you've got a really high-pitched voice, you could be absolutely screaming your head off, and there's a very good chance I'm still not going to hear it because it's not just about volume. And a lot of people have this misconception that it is, and they just yell at you and think that because you're deaf, you have to be yelled at. And I'm like anyone else, I don't like people yelling at me, and it doesn't make any difference in whether I can hear you or not. Even if you're in a really loud environment with a ton of background noise, by you yelling doesn't really actually do very much for me because it all just blends into the rest of the murmured, non-existent noise. So yeah, I just thought I would make a really super quick video this week and just get that out there, because it is so frustrating that as soon as someone finds out you're deaf, they start yelling at you and say sentences like that. And from a GP, not gonna lie, would expect more, because I mean, you're a GP, you probably have some understanding of deafness, I would have thought, but clearly not. That, or he was just being a complete absolute. But another misconception is that all deaf people know sign language, which is not true. By you saying, oh, you can't be deaf because you don't know sign language, is just the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard in my entire life. Because some people become deaf later on in life, and unless they go and decide to learn sign language and go into the sign language deaf community ways, then they're not going to know sign language, but it doesn't mean that they're not deaf. The two misconceptions that we are talking about and I wanted to get out in this video is, the first one is not all deaf people know sign language, just putting that out there. And secondly, yelling at me and turning the volume up on a radio doesn't necessarily mean I am going to hear it or hear all of it or enough to even understand it. So if you come across a deaf person, don't do that, please. And I know that a lot of the time it is just about a lack of knowledge and understanding about what deafness is and how it kind of works. And I get that, because if you're not exposed to it, you don't get exposed to it at school, and if you don't know someone that is deaf, you're not necessarily going to know. I get that, I understand that, but please, please share this video, share your understanding, because we are entitled to be treated well, to understand what's going on and not be left out, and not come out of an appointment feeling absolutely rubbish. And if you're not already, please be sure to hit that subscribe button so that we can learn more together, have some fun together, and just live. I mean, if you click that subscribe button, you're going to live even better, but if you don't, you're still going to live. And all my social media links are in the description box below, so be sure to come and say hi. And until next time, keep watching, stay strong and stay safe. Bye guys.